Here in this video, we're going to get into all of your Tesla stock breaking news and what some of your analysts are talking about in regards to Tesla stock. There's actually a lot of debate going on right now for what 2024 is going to look like. So we'll go over that and I'll share my opinions as well as that breakdown what could be coming in the new year. Now, I cannot independently confirm this because obviously I don't live in China. I don't have connects in China, but this user, Tesla China analyst, says now I can definitively tell everyone that Tesla has definitely achieved its 1.8 million delivery target. I think it's pretty clear Tesla is going to massively exceed their 1.8 million guidance, probably come in over 500,000 deliveries, as per my estimate, around 510,000 deliveries. So this is not like new crazy information, but it's more solid, I guess, inclinations that we are going to at least beat our 1.8 million guidance number for 2023, because in the off chance that we do not, Tesla stock will get crushed. But again, I think it's pretty definitive that Tesla is going to beat that number unless something terrible happened in the US and people really just stopped buying Teslas. Well, yeah. This user named Roaming Norway says the new supercharger dispensers are worse for Tesla drivers. He basically lists 4 different complaints. The cables are heavier, the cables are less flexible and make it difficult to bend the cable. The grip of the holster makes the plug fall onto the ground and lets snow and dirt get inside. And this one, which is really nothing Tesla can do at this point, he says they are much taller and opaque and blocks visibility at the site. Really, I mean, that's just nitpicking at that point, in my personal opinion. But it's pretty cool that Tesla actually commented on this directly and says minor things matter. Cable dock and stiffness improvements coming soon. Here from this chart, you can see Tesla's total global sales from 2016 through 2023, and just look at how the Model Y has basically taken over. The Model Y has sold 2,162,000 and the Model 3 at 2,165,000. The Model 3 has been around a lot longer than the Model Y, and you can just see, well, the Model Y has clearly taken over. Q3 2023 sales, you had 302,000 Model Ys and only 117,000 Model 3s. Now, I think looking ahead, this is actually great information because when we get the new product that's going to be this $25,000 vehicle, a lot of people are under the assumption that it's going to cannibalize the Model 3. I don't worry about that as much because of the Model Y. Because the Model 3 is already to some degree getting cannibalized by the Model Y. The Model 3 at this point, well, maybe it gets somewhat cannibalized by the Model 2, but the Model Y really just shows that, I mean, that's the superior product that the majority of people want to own. A new $25,000 vehicle, well, maybe it does put some compression on Model 3 sales. It's not going to be as big of a deal because it's not going to compete with the Model Y. Hopefully that makes some sense. Honest opinions down below in the comment section. I'm very curious to see which one you guys like. Do you like the left or the right? On the left, you have the gloss black. On the right, you have the matte black Cybertruck. Landry Serrano says delivery day is here. Cybertruck number 552. An incredible work of art. So it's pretty safe to assume there's at least been a couple hundred Cybertruck deliveries thus far. But so far it appears that only Tesla employees have received Cybertrucks. And here from Unplugged Performance, you have 37-inch Cybertruck wheels, tires. Holy moly. I don't think the picture actually does them justice. For a little bit of context, this $100 bill behind me is 4 feet long. It's 48 inches. So 37 inches, I mean, that's gonna be a big tire. Gary Black writes on X, I have the utmost respect for Troy Tesla. He is by far the best analyst at forecasting Tesla deliveries. Where we disagree is, one, I believe Troy's 2024 delivery estimate of 2 to 2.1 million vehicles is too low. And number two, Troy believes Tesla is battery constrained in the US before 680 capacity will continue to ramp, alleviating the US battery situation. And number three, I believe Tesla will regain their price matrix, raise the Model Y prices to offset price cuts on the Model 3 after January 1st to adjust for the $7,500 off invoice credit on Model Y and the loss of the $7,500 credit on the Model 3 rear wheel drive and long range. So that's actually very interesting. Gary Black says the Tesla's probably going to raise prices on the Model Y. That's going to help margins big time. He says where we agree. Number one, there's no way Tesla will get to 20 million deliveries by 2030. My 2030 forecast is 10.2 million from 1.8 million today, unless Tesla radically changes how they think about advertising versus price cuts. Number two, Tesla should not have cut prices by 15 to 20% in 2023. 4 to 8% in line with COGS reductions would have been okay to hold margins, since they got little or no volume growth from the price cuts. Tesla valuation should have been far less impacted to buy down auto loan rates to 3 to 4%, which would have looked smart now as interest rates fall. One thing about Tesla, they are never static. I believe they will find a way to get at least $3,750 back on the Model 3 rear-wheel drive and long-range EV tax credit. That's something I believe as well. Number three in Gary Black's post, that Tesla will, one, be able to raise prices. That's something I firmly believe. As rates come down, imagine it like this. If you can get a Model 3, let's call it for $600 a month, roughly that's what it's going to be right now, $600 to $650 a month, not including insurance, any of that, just the car loan itself. If rates come down, as the markets expect, 6 or 7 times next year to 3.5 to 3.75%, that's roughly going to put a monthly payment at about $500 a month, maybe in the high fours. Well, what that's going to do is allow either Tesla to give that benefit to consumers, as in a cheaper loan per month, or Tesla can raise prices and give the consumer a little bit of a benefit. Tesla could raise prices by, let's say, $5,000 or $3,000, and still, once rates come down, have a $550 a month payment. So it's a little bit cheaper on the consumer, but Tesla also takes some benefit from that as well. I think it's going to be a mix of Tesla benefiting and the consumer benefiting. And I don't think that's something most of Wall Street has priced in for Tesla stock in 2024. In fact, really nobody is expecting that in 2024. And I think that's one of the reasons why Tesla stock is likely to exceed all-time highs in 2024. This post was in response to this post by Troy Tesla. He says 1.8 million deliveries this year means 37% growth over 2022. For those expecting similar growth in 2024, I recommend checking out what Tesla said here on November 15th, 2023. Quote, Tesla candidly admitted the company is now in an intermediate low growth period. I think this to some degree is probably correct. I think you're probably not in a 50% year over year growth period as Tesla wants to average over the coming years. And I think that does change as we do get the introduction of the Model 2. That's where delivery growth really starts to pick up, as well as we'll see how the Cybertruck ramp does also continue to go as well. If that goes faster than expected, we can likely see the halo effect kick in faster than expected. This is also something I think is very bullish for Tesla stock. Now, this is a post from Gur Gavin. He says, stocks that have the highest number of buy recommendations from analysts for 2024. Number one is Amazon at 68. You have Facebook at 66, Microsoft at 60, Nvidia at 59, Google at 56, Uber at 50. All of these stocks really on this list have hit all-time highs this year or are currently close to all-time highs, besides Block. I know Block is, not really that close to an all-time high. They did not hit an all-time high this year, but basically all of these other stocks did. So it's easy to say, hey, These stocks did well in 2023. They're probably going to do well in 2024. I think that's actually not going to be the case. I think 2024 is the year of catch up, right? Where your smaller names, your less respected names in 2022 and 2023 are going to do well. This is small mid-cap stocks. This is interest rate sensitive names. Tesla. The fact that Tesla's not on here just means there's a lot more room to see more buy recommendations and for Wall Street to be upset by Tesla's performance. Basically, in English, there's not that many people that are bullish on Tesla. When Tesla beats the numbers, well, that's going to be very good for Tesla stock. Synquote did a market pulse survey with over 500 participants. The results are pretty interesting. 42.2% expect a rally followed by a pullback. 37.6% expect a sell the news event. And 20.1% expect up only. Let me know what you think is coming next for our markets. Christopher Jungian wrote this post on December 30th. He says, here's Elon Musk in 2021 correctly predicting Tesla's Model Y becoming the world's top selling vehicle in 2023. At the time, Elon says, seems quite likely, at least based on revenue in 2022 and possibly total units in 2023. Elon Musk just responded and says, while certainly not perfect, my batting average for most predictions is quite good. My scheduled optimism, without which I probably wouldn't even have tried to do many endeavors, gets the best of me sometimes, but I always deliver in the end. And back to what Elon said yesterday, I stand by my prediction that if Tesla executes extremely well over the next 5 years, that the long-term value could exceed Apple and Aramco combined. Maybe it's 4 years, maybe it's 7 years, who knows? But there's big gains in Tesla's stock to come. Mohammed El Arian, he writes on X from Bloomberg on the latest set of activity data out of China. The PMI figures provided more sights of weakness in China's economic recovery in the final months of the year. They are also likely to add pressure on fiscal and monetary policymakers to act urgently after leaders vowed to maintain a pro-growth stance in 2024. Durable prosperity in China needs more than just adding fuel to a tired growth engine. It needs deep reform of the growth engine itself. This data that came out was the official manufacturing purchasing managers index that declined to 49, and economists were expecting 49.6. Now, what I think could ultimately happen is China may open up to more foreign investment. That I think is pretty interesting. Something that's, along the same lines of what the U.S. has done to be able to prosper over the last 100 years, really globalization. This, could open the door for more growth and activity in China, depending on which road China tends to lead down. Google Trends data for the Cybertruck, Model 3, and Model Y staying pretty much the same, although the Cybertruck is now at 26, so it is now lower than the Model 3 and the Model Y. The Model Y and the Model 3 really not doing all too much, just staying pretty stable here in the low 30s. Tesla continues to run about 400 different ads. Tesla's global inventory numbers look to be somewhat stabilizing for the Model Y after falling from 7,000 in early December, now to about 2,700 at the end of December. This could be a good sign that Tesla is really going to exceed their delivery targets, that they could come in over 500,000. If this was a big rundown of inventory on top of selling the vehicles that we have seen in Giga Shanghai lots, we know that are in transport to Europe. Fremont is cranking at like full capacity. Even some of the employee parking lot is being taken up by new vehicles coming out of the facility itself. We know output has been cranking. If inventory has also gotten run down, you could see a huge beat to Tesla deliveries. The same is true for the Model 3, going from 2,600 in inventory now down to about 800 in inventory in the month of December. The Model S and the Model X, well, their inventory numbers have been falling for a long time. I implore you to check your local inventory around you and see where it's at. Personally, here in Michigan, I'm pretty far from Fremont or Texas. There is like no inventory left across the board. I'm curious to know what it looks like where you guys live. Option activity on Friday was actually pretty strong, especially with your total numbers, your volume numbers. Almost 67% to the call side and 33% to the put side. If you look at hedge funds and institutions on Friday, you had 726 orders totaling $1.12 billion with a positive order value of 30%. So it didn't look too great from hedge funds and institutions on Friday. But if you look at Thursday's numbers, where Tesla stock declined over 3% on Thursday, you had 879 hedge fund institutional trades totaling $1.8 billion with a positive order value of 82%. So over the past 2 days, you have seen a hard rejection above 260, which is not exactly great, somewhat expected heading into a delivery number, which will be coming out Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. So in pre-market, the first trading day of 2024, we're going to get those numbers. Well, Tesla stock, apologies for the baby, holy crap, has fallen about 5% in 2 days. This sets us up for a big move coming on a beat on Tuesday. As per my estimate of 510,000 deliveries, if that number is true, Tesla stock probably rallies 10+% coming on Tuesday. A lot of this also has to do with hedge funds and institutions, analysts being very bearish on Tesla for 2024, whether it be a recession forecast or whether it just be Tesla forecast itself. Well, if Tesla really comes in over 500,000 units, they're wrong. Okay, 2024 could be a lot better than what they expect, and you will likely see a lot of money flow into Tesla, whether it was tax loss harvesters that tax loss harvested in November or early December that are now able to buy back, or if it's just the fact that large cap fund managers have underperformed on average the S&P over the last 2 years that need to get allocated to interest rate sensitive names. Well, Tesla fits that bill perfectly. A 10% rally could take Tesla stock into the low 270s. That's my expectation if we come in around 510, even possibly 520,000 deliveries. But to the contrary, if we come in anything lower than 490, you're probably going to get some selling in Tesla. Anything above 495 is likely to be a 3 to 5% up move, but anything over 500,000, well, yeah, it's likely to be 7+% to the upside. I did make a bullish trade on Tesla stock for this delivery number that will be coming out on Tuesday. If you guys would like to come check out that trade and come trade with us throughout all of 2024, it's going to be a fantastic year to be in the markets in Tesla stock. In my personal opinion, check out that link down below in the description of this video. On the flip side, if we do go into a recession, Tesla stock will not perform well, at least for the first or second half of 2024, at least for a 3 to 6 month time period. Well, a recession, just fears of a recession themselves, would have very negative consequences to Tesla's stock performance. Although I'm not in that camp, I don't think a recession is coming for 2024. I think the data recently actually suggests that we may have been in a recession for the past 2 years, at least a rolling recession in some form or capacity, and maybe the economy is actually expanding and accelerating in its growth in 2024. That's yet to be seen. If I'm correct there, Tesla stock could reach $500+ per share in 2024. But if we do enter a recession, well, Tesla stock, don't expect it to perform well. We will talk about that in the next video, the bear case, base case, best case scenario ahead for 2024 in Tesla stock. That's going to do it for this one. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. My name is Michael Tyler. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.